And welcome back. We have a 2007 Pontiac to rent, and it has a few different codes, but we're only going to be looking at two of them today, the P0171 and the P0300. Now this is kind of like a cause and effect deal, so they kind of go hand in hand. I think the actual problem here is a P0171, and the P0300 is just a side effect, so you don't want to focus on the misfires. Now these codes are generic codes, meaning that you can find them in almost every make and model, so the fact that I'm working on a Pontiac is kind of irrelevant right now. Here I am looking at short-term fuel trims, and on a car where everything's working as it should, your numbers would normally be around 0, but as you can see at idle I'm about positive 29, 30, something like that, and as I step on the accelerator pedal, you see the numbers start to drop, and as you let off of the pedal they start to rise right back up again. So that's a good indication of a vacuum leak. And I'm gonna use my little cheap smoke machine here. You can actually make these yourself, but I was just too lazy and I bought mine off of eBay. So what I'm gonna do here is take off the air box, and the reason for that is I kind of want to cap off this end with a rubber glove. And the reason for that is, since we're gonna be introducing smoke into the intake manifold, I don't want that smoke or that pressure to escape. So I'm just gonna use the rubber glove to cap off this end. Now to introduce the smoke into the intake manifold, you could pretty much use any vacuum line that you could find around here. This one is right in front and pretty easy to get to, so I'm just going to use it. And here I am just trying to connect the hose off of my smoke machine, and I'm just going to go ahead and start it up. As you can see, the glove is doing its job, is holding the pressure inside of the intake manifold. And what really helps to find any smoke leaks would be a flashlight. So the smoke that's coming out of here is at that junction right there where I got it connected, so that's not a big deal. That's kind of expected, but you want to just keep looking around the engine bay for a leak. And I do kind of see something back here. So once you start seeing smoke coming out of somewhere, you just want to trace it down and find out where it's coming from. And that's pretty much the main purpose of the smoke machine. It's its only job, and it actually does a really good job at that. So it's hard to pick up on camera, but I actually, in person, I actually can see it very well. So I'm just going to put my hand back here and show you exactly what I found is leaking. So this tube right here should be connected to something, and it looks like there should be something on the end, but the pieces of plastic are broken off. So it wasn't even inside of where it has to be. It was just kind of sitting there in the engine bay. So this right here is a massive vacuum leak, and this is what would cause our fuel trims to be up so high. So I just went ahead and reconnected that line. It's not in there secure, but it's enough to kind of give us some feedback here on the scanner. So with the line plugged in, you can see the numbers did drop down. They're not exactly where I want them to be, but they are much lower than they used to be. So they're nowhere near that positive 30 that we had. Okay, so just to show you one more time, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect that line again. And our short-term fuel trim should skyrocket right back up to positive 30. And there you go, the proof is in the pudding. So the next step is to actually replace that part, and that's what I have right here, an original GM part. So let's take a look at the old one, and you can see right where the pieces of plastic just snapped right off. And here goes the new one. You can see the prongs on it, and those prongs are actually the things that actually hold this hose in place. So I'm just gonna go ahead and reinstall this part, and once this is all done, which as you can see, the magic of editing, the part is now installed. Now we could go look at the scanner again and see what the fuel trims look like. Okay, so it's the moment of truth. As you can see, we're in closed loop, so let's scroll down and go look at the fuel trims. Looks like we're at about positive 7, 10, and then later on it actually jumped up to about 16, and I was not comfortable with that, so I started snooping around just a little bit more, and I actually found this on the air box right before the map sensor. All this debris, I'm not really sure what it is. Maybe it's just from a dirty air filter, but it's definitely restricting the amount of air that could get into the engine. So I'm just gonna go ahead and clean this off. Now that we have all of that debris cleaned out that was kind of restricting airflow, you can see the fuel trims look much better now. They're way closer to zero. They're going to bounce around a little bit, but that's perfectly normal. Another thing I noticed is that the oxygen sensor is actually switching back and forth much faster than it used to, so that's great. And I want to say that's a fix. And that's pretty much it. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're considering subscribing, don't forget to hit that notification bell. And like always, thanks for watching.